Honda has a trend where they alternate mature and sporty-looking design models per generation. We've seen this in the Honda Civic, and it seems that the HRV is following the same pattern. The next generation HRV has been unveiled already, and based on the launch photos, it looks absolutely frumpy. Now, my opinion of this design might change when I see it in the flesh, but as of now, is this current generation Honda HRV your last chance to get a sporty-looking crossover from Honda's showroom? Well, in this video, we're going to take a tour of this current generation HRV and see if it's better to get one now or wait for the next generation. Let's do this! Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell as well so that you'll be alerted whenever I upload a new video. If you're my subscriber already, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Also, special thanks to Honda Manila for giving us this opportunity to review the Honda HRV. If you have any inquiries about any of the Honda lineup, you may head on down here to Honda Cars Manila, or you may check out the person in my pinned comment below. The premium subcompact crossover segment is a bit of a niche market because it caters to well-to-do individuals who want a small yet premium crossover that has an air of exclusivity around it. This was started by the BMW X1, and other car makers followed suit like Mazda CX30, Subaru's XV Crosstrek, Toyota's Corolla Cross Hybrid, and of course, this Honda HRV RS that we have here. These are premium subcompact crossovers, and their pricing reflects this. This Honda HRV RS retails for 1,515,000 Philippine pesos, which may seem like a lot of money for such a small crossover, but if you have to question the pricing, well then, this car is probably not for you. As I mentioned, exclusivity. The HRV RS has the most car-like looking front end amongst all of Honda's crossovers. It has a front-end design that's similar to the City and Civic RS, which I love so much. The HRV RS gets a full LED headlight treatment, and we have a front garnish here that is finished in black chrome. Now, this might be chrome, guys, but I must admit this black chrome looks positively gorgeous. Now, when you look at the lower part of the front grille, you see that you have a black honeycomb design here, which is a signature RS design theme. It also separates the HRV RS from the lower E variant. Now, when you look at the front fascia of this HRV RS, it has a chunky look to it, like it's the love child of a CRV and a Civic conceived on one drunken night. Even the name itself reflects its chunky nature, because HRV stands for High Rider Vehicle. Well, definitely it rides higher than most sedans, but not as high as a regular typical SUV. But one thing, guys, that I have to say, this HRV RS is one handsome looking vehicle, even better looking than the incoming HRV. Well, that's just my opinion, guys, because you all know that I have a bias towards sporty looking crossovers. Now, the sporty coupe-like silhouette of the HRV is more prominent when you view it from the side profile. The roofline here slopes down aggressively into the C-pillar, giving it a nice flowing look. Now, to further accentuate that sporty coupe design, the rear door handles have been nicely integrated into the C-pillar so that to the untrained eye, the HRV looks like a two-door sports coupe rather than a practical five-door crossover. Now, to add more of that handsomeness, we have this nice aggressive body line here, which further gives it a sporty character. Now, the HRV RS also gets a blacked out power folding side mirror here with turn signals, LED turn signals. And for your wheels and tires, we get 17-inch wheels in an exclusive RS design. Now, these wheels are wrapped in 215/55 R17 tires. Behind those wheels, you get four-wheel disc brakes And for your suspension, you have a MacPherson setup in the front, but only a rear torsion beam at the back. However, the ground clearance is a respectable 185 millimeters, which is pretty much at the same level as other subcompact crossovers. The HRV gets one of the better looking rear ends in the category, especially in this RS trim. The RS gets this nice blacked out finish for the rear bumper, giving it a little bit more of a sporty look. And we also have nice smoked out LED taillights here. It's a good combination of sportiness and elegance put together in a nice package that is never overstyled. Now when you pop open the liftgate, you'll notice that even this top spec HRV RS comes with a manual liftgate, which is pretty much expected in the subcompact crossover segment. But what's not expected is the fact that we get the class leader when it comes to the trunk space. You see, the HRV has 431 liters of cargo capacity, which is so large that Honda is so proud of it that they even put it in the spec sheet. Now, just how large is 431 liters? I have here my medium-sized luggage, and as you can see, I can put my luggage here like this, and you still have space for a second luggage here, and you can put a third one on top. So that's 3 medium-sized luggage in a crossover that's this small. Now what we have here is a tonneau cover, but this is more of a budget tonneau cover, guys, because this doesn't really retract. You just have to remove it like that. So if you remove that, you free up, well, more space inside your HRV. Now, 431 liters is a lot of space. But if you need more space than 431 liters, well, you'd be happy to know that the HRV took a page from the Honda Jazz / Honda Fit, because the second row seats also fold down, and these are ULT seats, which means that they not only fold down, they go all the way down into the floor to the point that you will now have a cargo space that is good for 1,249 liters of cargo capacity. Now, that's even bigger than the trunk space of some mid-size SUVs. Now, that is fantastic about the HRV. And that's what I love about it, because you have a nice, sporty-looking exterior, yet inside you have the practicality of a mid-size SUV. The HRV's powertrain is a bit underwhelming. What we have here is a 1.8-liter, 4-cylinder petrol engine that's good for 140 horses and 172 Newton meters of torque. It's not the most powerful motor in its class. That would go to the Mazda CX30. And it's also not the most frugal when it comes to fuel economy. Now that one goes to the Toyota Corolla Cross hybrid. Now this motor is a middle-of-the-pack engine, and it also just powers the front wheels via CVT transmission. We don't really get the all-wheel drive option in the HRV in the Philippines, not even in this top spec RS trim. If you're looking for all-wheel drive, you might as well look elsewhere, probably the Subaru XV Crosstrek. Well, this HRV RS engine is still a VTEC engine, so that's gotta count for something, yeah? The cockpit area of the HRV is corporate Honda, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Honda makes some of the most well-balanced cabins in the business, and the HRV follows in the same vein. This top-spec Honda HRV RS gets leather-wrapped seats here, and we also have a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel. Now the steering wheel also comes with the usual hands-free buttons for connectivity, and we also have cruise control right here. Now the wheel also adjusts for tilt, and it also telescopes, so that's actually good news for taller drivers than myself. Now when you look at the the instrument gauge cluster, you'll see the age of the Honda HRV. We get a full analog system here, and the multi-information display is kinda dated when you look at it. Now the infotainment system is also a bit on the small side, especially for a premium subcompact crossover. The HRV RS gets a 7-inch Kenwood head unit here that thankfully has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it also has a reverse camera that we could see right there. Now, going from your infotainment system, you also have a fully automatic climate control system here. And I love the fact that the HRV now has an electronic parking brake, with an auto brake hold feature. The center tunnel of the HRV also has this glossy piano black finish here, along with the automatic climate controls area. So this will not age very well. And as you could see already, it also is quite a dust magnet and a fingerprint magnet as well. Now the good thing here though is the center tunnel comes with this nice leather wrapped padded material on the sides. So that adds a bit of a premium luxury touch. Now when you look at the passenger side area of the HRV's cockpit, you'll see that Honda went a bit overboard when it comes to the AC vents. You see, the driver still gets the usual dual AC vents here on my side, but the front passenger would get really chilly because, well, the front passenger gets 3 AC vents aimed right smack at his face or her face. Now, the good thing about the HRV is that it also has a pretty large cup holder here, which we will subject to our clean canteen test. As you can see, this is the cup holder. Boom, it could easily fit my clean canteen. So that's also another plus point for the HRV. Now, when you look at the whole cockpit layout, I love the fact that Honda angled a lot of the controls and a lot of the screens towards the driver. This is a true driver-centric cockpit, guys, and I love that all the controls are within easy reach. Oh, by the way, I failed to mention that we also have some paddle shifters here behind the steering wheel, which will give you simulated shifting because this is a CVT transmission. Now, despite being in the premium subcompact crossover category, the HRV has its fair share of hard plastics on the dashboard, on the door cards, but at least the high traffic areas are wrapped in soft touch materials or even in leather. Overall, this is a pretty nice, functional, straightforward cabin that I wouldn't mind sitting in on a daily basis. Now the HRV gets the usual Honda space magic here at the back seat. I'm 5'6", guys, and as you can see, this is my driving position and I got a good 7 inches of knee room before my knee would touch the seat back of the driver. In terms of headroom, guys, I got like 4 inches of headroom, so that is still pretty decent and it could easily seat, well, larger individuals than myself. However, for toys, this top spec HRV RS doesn't really get much toys here, guys. In fact, it hardly gets any toys. We don't get a USB charging port. We don't get a rear AC vent. We only have a solo cup holder here in the middle, but at least we do have a nice fold-out center armrest here. However, despite the lack of toys here at the back, this HRV RS is proud of its ULT seat configuration setup. You see, this is just like the Honda Jazz or the Honda Fit, and you could even lift the seat itself so that you have a nice large compartment that is sheltered from the elements right here inside your HRV. Plus the fact that you could also fold the seat back down, which can give you a cavernous over 1,249 liters of cargo capacity. So that's pretty much what you're getting for the HRV RS. You're not buying this for the toys, but rather for the practicality that it could offer you while you're driving around. And speaking of driving around, guys, let's take this HRV RS out for a spin to see if its driving performance will live up to its RS badge. Alright guys, so we're now behind the wheel of the Honda HRV RS. And right off the bat, guys, I could tell you that these are pretty good quality seats. These leather seats are firm, but not hard firm. They're sporty, supportive firm, and I like it. These are not the usual typical Honda Econo seats that I've come to experience with some of the budget offerings from Honda, so that is already a plus point. When it comes to visibility, the visibility of the HRV RS is pretty fantastic for a subcompact crossover. We got a nice large windshield up front, and even my sideways visibility is also pretty decent. That is quite surprising considering that this is a sporty subcompact crossover, so I would normally expect that visibility would be a bit compromised for a little bit more of that aggressive sportiness, but it's not the case in the HRV RS. Steering feel is also nice and weighty. Turn-in is quite sharp. Steering response as well. This is an electric power assist system, but it wouldn't make you think that it's an e-pass. It feels more like a nice sporty hydraulic power assist system. That is a pretty good magic. I mean, steering tuning magic from Honda. Wow. I'm now getting why you're paying a little bit more for this premium subcompact crossover. It's not really too much on the materials, but I even say that the steering feel of this Honda HRV RS feels even better than that of the Mazda CX30. And that is saying a lot, guys, because I love the steering feel of the CX30. Now, when it comes to its suspension tuning, well, this HRV is decently tuned for a subcompact crossover with a bit of a bias towards the sporty side. The road imperfections are transmitted to you, but not in a harsh way. It's just right, just enough to tell you what you're going through. It's not like you're floating over the road. It doesn't feel like a minivan in that sense, or even a Rolls Royce. So yeah, in terms of suspension tuning, yeah, perfectly decent. Handling is also good. All right, we're now here at the stoplight, and on green, I'm going to send it. We're now in sport mode, and let's see what kind of acceleration we can expect from the HRV RS. Let's go. All right, one thing I could say for sure, this is one loud engine when you're putting it at its maximum performance. Yes, this is still a CVT, guys. The engine was so loud, yet the speed wasn't there, at least during the first few seconds from launch. However, once the CVT gets over that CVT rubber band effect, then speed comes pretty quickly. Just don't expect this to perform at the same level as, let's say, a decently tuned 6-speed automatic transmission or even a manual transmission, because it won't. Now, it's not really as fast as, let's say, the Mazda CX30 or even the Geely Coolray, which is $500,000 pesos cheaper than this vehicle. But then if you're only going to base your decision on that, well, you're totally missing the point, guys. The HRV is meant to be a hassle-free, no frills, no nonsense, straightforward, practical daily driver that can give you the right levels of comfort and the right levels of tech and features that would make you happy. This thing feels premium even if I'm just driving it around on this block. And that's what you're paying for. The whole ride experience of the HRV RS, it's really on the premium side. Overall, guys, the HRV presents a good balance of practicality, performance, space, and looks in a premium subcompact crossover. Just don't expect it to really perform at sports car levels of acceleration when you need to send it, because, well, that CVT is still its biggest Waterloo. But for daily driving duties, the HRV RS is pretty much a perfect companion. The Honda HRV RS may play it safe in a lot of aspects as a premium subcompact crossover, but it does have one huge thing going for it. This is one gorgeous looking subcompact crossover. Honda fanboys that get married and start a family would do well with this current generation HRV, since it shares the same sporty soul as the Honda Civic and the Honda City. It has just enough tech and features to make a lot of people happy. And of course, it has that class-leading space for people who want a large cargo capacity in such a small package. Thanks for watching.